Dear audience, now I would like to request the participants of Godara Adolescent Girls Club under Unnoyon, a partner organization of PKSF, to perform the patriotic song Takdum Takdum Bajai, Ami Takdum Takdum Bajai, Bangladesher Dhol.
মাটির সুরে সুরেতে আমার করণ জুড়াইল বাউল ভাটিয়ালিতে বাংলার মাটির সুরে সুরেতে পরাণ কইলা মেঘনা দিতাস পতারি গান গায় সব ভুলে যাই তাও ভুলি না বাংলা মায়ের কোল তাকদুম তাকদুম বাজায় আমি তাকদুম তাকদুম বাজাই বাংলাদেশের ঢোল আমি তাকদুম তাকদুম বাজাই সব ভুলে যাই আমি সব ভুলে যাই তাও ভুলি না বাংলা মায়ের কোল তাকদুম তাকদুম বাজাই আমি তাকদুম তাকদুম বাজাই বাংলাদেশের ঢোল 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 আমি তাকদুম তাকদুম বাজাই।
Dear participants, thank you very much for performing such a melodious patriotic song that expresses our strong attachment to our motherland, Bangla Ma, as well as our gratitude towards our motherland. Now, I would like to request Mr. Ghulam Tawhid, Senior Deputy Managing Director, to give his welcome remarks.
Excellency Charles Whiteley, Ambassador and Head of Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, distinguished representatives from partner organizations of PKSF and other organizations, dear journalists, friends from print and electronic media, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning to you all. It is my pleasure to welcome you all at the launching workshop of Pathways to Prosperity for Extremely Poor People, European Union Project, for short PPEPP-EU. PPEPP-EU is an extreme poverty project specially designed for supporting some of the most disadvantaged groups of our society. I wholeheartedly thank our long-standing development partner, European Union, for funding the project. As you know, Bangladesh is committed to and is working towards eliminating poverty by 2030 in line with UN Sustainable Development Goals. Although on right track, the country faces an uphill task considering its limited resources and the number of people still living in poverty. The challenge for the government, policymakers, and development workers is therefore to find a proven and effective intervention model for sustainable graduation of the extreme poor people of Bangladesh. The challenges lies not only in reducing the poverty rate, but also in making sure that these vulnerable groups do not fall back into extreme poverty. PKSF has been working to address this challenge since its establishment by the government in 1990. Field experience from PKSF Prime, UPP Ujjibito, LIFT, and Enrich programs show that many extremely poor people do slide back from the graduation track due to sudden shocks such as natural disaster and health hazard. PPEPP-EU project has been especially designed to prevent this fallback as we try to address the most crucial aspects of multidimensional poverty along a pathway towards growth and prosperity. The project aims to enhance livelihoods and enterprise development activities, improve nutrition and health, increase access to service through community mobilization, promote inclusion of persons with disability in mainstream economic activities, build climate resilience, and empower women for gender-balanced society. Today, on the occasion of the launching workshop of PPEPP-EU project, I offer my deep gratitude to the Financial Institution Divisions and Economic Relations Division of the Ministry of Finance, our development partners, especially the European Union and partner organizations for their continued support to end poverty. Thank you all for coming and enjoy the rest of the programs. Thank you.
Now, I would like to request Dr. Nomita Haldar, NDC, Managing Director of PKSF, to kindly give her opening speech.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable PKSF Chairman, Dr. Kazi Kholikuzaman Ahmad, and Chair of this session. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razak, Ministry of Agriculture, respected special guest, His Excellency Charles Whiteley, Ambassador and Head of Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, colleagues from European Union, board members of PKSF, adolescent girls, distinguished representatives from partner organizations of PKSF and other organizations, journalist friends from print and electronic media, my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all at PKSF. By now, we all know Bangladesh has made substantial progress in poverty reduction over the last 2 decades. Specifically, extreme poverty rate has dropped from 34.3 to 5.6%. This progress can be attributed to several factors, including steady economic growth, improvements in education and healthcare, and targeted poverty alleviation programs, both of governments and non-government organizations. Despite these achievements, however, a significant portion of the population still lives in poverty and in extreme poverty. Poverty rate is higher in rural areas compared to urban areas and is concentrated in certain regions of the country, such as the southern, northern, and Howard regions. Limited access to quality education and healthcare, inadequate infrastructure, and vulnerability to natural disasters pose serious obstacles to poverty reduction efforts in Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, PKSF is proud to have contributed to the journey of achieving SDGs towards progress and prosperity along with the government. As you know, PKSF was established by the government in 1990 as a specialized institution for poverty alleviation through employment generation. Since its establishment, PKSF has implemented dozens of programs and projects to connect millions of poor people to the mainstream consumer and job markets. With support from the government, and other bilateral and multilateral development partners, PKSF is now providing a wide range of flexible and innovative financial and non-financial services. I'm happy to declare European Union is one of our oldest and tested development partners, supporting marginal communities in rural Bangladesh through different programs since 1999. Over the years, PKSF has come to be known for its impactful yet low-cost projects that cater to the needs of the specific target groups. While many non-PKSF poverty programs adopt the threshold graduation model, costing over $1,000 per household, PKSF adopts a sustained pathway out of poverty approach which costs less than $100 per threshold per household. Today, we gather here to celebrate the launching of one such low-cost initiative, Pathways to Prosperity for Extremely Poor People, European Union project. I'm confident, I'm very much confident this multidimensional project will be able to achieve the expected results and lift the target households out of poverty and connect them with the mainstream economic growth and job markets. Distinguished participants, I take this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude to the relevant ministries, especially the Ministry of Finance, for their continued support for our work. Big thanks to all our development partners, especially the European Union, for supporting our endeavors to tackle poverty, malnutrition, gender disparity, disaster, and climate change. Going forward, we seek similar support from other development partners and relevant ministries and departments of the government for successful implementation of the PPEPP-EU project as well as other ongoing projects of PKSF. I also offer my sincere thanks to our partner organizations who are the key force behind our achievements. Adolescent girls, আমি শুধু বাংলায় একটু বলি, আজকের কিশোরীরা যে পারফরম্যান্সটা এখানে দেখিয়েছে এটি পিপিইপিপি প্রকল্পের একটি অঙ্গ, যেখানে আমরা কিশোর-কিশোরীদেরকে তাদেরকে সচেতনতা বোধ সৃষ্টির মাধ্যমে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাচ্ছি। আজকের গানটি দেশপ্রেম, অনেক কাজের মধ্যে আমাদের দেশপ্রেম না থাকলে আমরা কিন্তু উন্নয়নে অংশ নিতে পারবো না, এবং তাদেরকে আমরা সেটাই শেখাচ্ছি যে প্রথমেই আসো, দেশকে ভালোবাসি, তাহলেই আমরা উন্নয়নটা করতে পারবো। তারাই সেটারই স্বাক্ষর আজকে রেখে গেল, তাদেরকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। Last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, I'm extremely grateful to our chief guest, the Honorable Minister, for giving us his precious time despite of his busy schedule. On this special occasion, I would like to make an appeal to him, stand-alone project, that is projects not combinedly with other organizations, with other government organizations or other development partners. PKSF is competent enough to handle any project stand-alone. I mean, whenever this is our experience that some projects we had done together and that partner lagged behind, and while we were well ahead of time. That is why it was a problem for many development partners that sometimes they want to implement project by PKSF along with other organizations, and which is really proved ineffective for us. That is why we prefer, because we have very competent team, very competent workforce here to implement any kind of project. So please think some projects for us that we can work alone as PKSF. We can meet deadlines of the projects, complete projects on time with quality and fruitful results, and I can assure you on this. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope we will continue the good work to build a sustainable and better Bangladesh. Let us commit to make the best use of our limited resources for the betterment of the vulnerable communities that we work for. I thank you all.
Dear audience, it's the time to listen the voice from the grassroots. তিনি PKSF এর সহযোগী সংস্থা উন্নয়নের গোদারা কিশোরী ক্লাবের একজন সদস্য। Dear audience, I would like to request Ms. Momotaz Sultana from Ashashuni Upazila of Satkhira district to share her experience. She is a member of Godara Adolescent Girls Club under the partner organization Unnoyon.
বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম। পিকেএসএফ পরিচালনায় প্রসপারিটি প্রকল্পের আওতায় আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠানে সম্মানিত সভাপতি, প্রধান অতিথি ও উপস্থিত সম্মানিত সুধী সবাইকে জানাই আমার অন্তরের অন্তরস্থল থেকে আন্তরিক সালাম ও শুভেচ্ছা। আমি সাতক্ষীরা জেলার আশাশুনি থানার সোমনালী ইউনিয়নের প্রসপারিটি গোদারা কিশোরী ক্লাবের নির্বাচিত সভাপ্রধান মমতাজ সুলতানা। আজকে আমি খুবই আনন্দিত যে আজকের এই মহা আয়োজনে উন্নয়ন সংস্থা আমাকে এখানে কথা বলার ব্যবস্থা করে দিয়েছে। তাই সর্বপ্রথম আমি আমাদের প্রসপারিটি কিশোরী ক্লাবের পরিচিতি সম্পর্কে কিছু কথা বলবো। এই ক্লাবটি গঠন করা হয় 20 জুলাই 2020 সালে। আমাদের ক্লাবটিতে সর্বপ্রথম 15 জন সদস্য ছিল। এখন বর্তমানে আমাদের ক্লাবটিতে 25 জন সদস্য আছে। আমাদের ক্লাবে 5 সদস্য বিশিষ্ট একটি পরিচালনা কমিটি আছে এবং আমরা প্রত্যেকে নিজ নিজ দায়িত্ব খুব গুরুত্ব সহকারে পালন করি। আমাদের ক্লাবটিতে একটি লাইব্রেরি আছে যেখান থেকে বই সংগ্রহ করে আমরা সবাই জ্ঞান অর্জন করি। আমরা এই ক্লাব থেকে বিভিন্ন রকম কার্যক্রম করে থাকি এবং এই ক্লাব থেকে আমরা বিভিন্ন জিনিস শিখছি ও জানছি, যেমন বিএমআই নির্ণয় করা, প্রেশার মাপা। বিএমআই নির্ণয় করা একজন ব্যক্তির জন্য খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ, কারণ তার বয়স অনুযায়ী ওজন উচ্চতা ঠিক আছে কিনা এই বিএমআই নির্ণয় করলে সেটা বোঝা যায়। আমরা কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে বিভিন্ন প্রচারণা করে থাকি, যেমন স্বাস্থ্যসম্মত টয়লেট ব্যবহার করা, পিরিয়ডের সময় স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিন ব্যবহার করতে হবে। আমরা কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে আরেকটা উল্লেখযোগ্য কাজ করি, যেটা হচ্ছে বাল্যবিবাহ রোধ করা। একবার আমাদের এক কিশোরী, তার নাম ছাকিলা, তার মাত্র 14 বছর বয়স। এই বয়সে তার বাবা মা তাকে বিয়ে দিতে চেয়েছিল। আমরা তখন কিশোরীরা সবাই একত্রিত হয়ে তার বাসায় চলে যাই, গিয়ে তার বাবা মাকে বোঝাই ছাকিলা একটা শিশু, আর এই শিশুকে কেন আপনারা অল্প বয়সে বিয়ে দিবেন? জানেন ছাকিলাকে এই অল্প বয়সে বিয়ে দিলে তার কি কি সমস্যা হতে পারে? তার বাচ্চা জন্ম দেওয়ার সময় মৃত্যুর ঝুঁকি হতে পারে এবং তার গর্ভে যে বাচ্চা, সেই বাচ্চা প্রতিবন্ধী ও অপুষ্ট হতে পারে। আমরা তাকে ভালোভাবে বোঝানোর পরে তারা সিদ্ধান্ত নেয় ছাকিলাকে বিয়ে দিবে না। এখন ছাকিলা আমাদের সাথে কিশোরী ক্লাবে যায়। এই কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে আমরা বিভিন্ন কার্যক্রম করি, যেমন অনুকরণীয় বাবা ক্যাম্পেইন। এই অনুকরণীয় বাবা ক্যাম্পেইনের মাধ্যমে আমরা খুবই আনন্দ পেয়েছি। আমরা এই অনুকরণীয় বাবা ক্যাম্পেইনের মাধ্যমে বাবাদের কাছে একটি চিঠি লিখছিলাম। সেই চিঠিতে জানিয়েছিলাম আমরা বাবাদেরকে কতটা ভালোবাসি এবং বাবারা আমাদের ও ভাইদের সাথে যে বৈষম্যটা করে সেটা আমরা লিখছিলাম। যখন আমরা বাবাদেরকে সেই চিঠি পড়ে শোনাই, বাবারা তখন বুঝতে পারে ছেলে মেয়েদের ভিতরে এই বৈষম্য করাটা ঠিক নয়। আমাদের খুবই আনন্দ লাগে যে এখন আমাদের পরিবারে ছেলে মেয়েদের ভিতরে কোনো বৈষম্য হয় না। এই কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে আমরা আদর্শ পদ্ধতিতে রান্না করা শিখছি, ব্লাড গ্রুপিং ক্যাম্পেইন করছি এবং কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে স্বল্প মূল্যে স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিন বিক্রয় করা হয়, যেটা আমাদের অতি দরিদ্র গ্রামের জন্য খুবই প্রয়োজন ছিল, কারণ আমাদের গ্রামটা অতি দরিদ্র। এই গ্রামে সবার সম্ভব হয় না স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিন ক্রয় করে সেটা ব্যবহার করা। এই কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিন স্বল্প মূল্যে বিতরণের ফলে কিশোরীরা এখন স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিন ব্যবহার করতে পারছে। এই কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে আমরা বিভিন্ন পুষ্টি বাগান তৈরি করছি এবং আমাদের বিভিন্ন কার্যক্রম আছে। আমাদের কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে আমরা কিছু কাজ করি, যেমন কিশোরী ক্লাবের উদ্যোগে কমিউনিটি ক্লিনিকের সাথে সংযোগ সভার পরে প্রতি কিশোরীদের আইলন ট্যাবলেটের কার্যক্রম শুরু হয়েছে, যেটা আগে অল্প কিছু কিশোরী গ্রহণ করত। এই কিশোরী ক্লাবের জন্য আমাদের অনেক মানুষের সাথে দাঁড়িয়ে কথা বলার সাহস বৃদ্ধি পাচ্ছে। স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিনের ব্যবহার নিয়ে কথা বলতে আগে আমাদের খুব লজ্জা করত, ফলে আমরা যেটা ভালো বুঝতাম সেটা করতাম। কিন্তু এখন এই কিশোরী ক্লাবে এসে আমরা স্যানিটারি ন্যাপকিনের ব্যবহার ও বয়ঃসন্ধিকাল সম্পর্কে সঠিক ধারণা অর্জন করতে পেরেছি, যেটা আমাদের জন্য খুব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। আমাদের প্রত্যাশা কিশোরী ক্লাবের স্থায়ীকরণ বিষয়ক পরিকল্পনা পরামর্শ। আমাদের কিশোরী ক্লাবে পরিদর্শনে আপনারা সবাই আসবেন। ইতিমধ্যে কিশোরী ক্লাবের ব্যবস্থাপনা পরিচালক জনাব ডক্টর নমিতা হালদার ম্যাডাম আমাদের কিশোরী ক্লাবে এসেছিলেন এবং সামাজিক ব্যাধি নিয়ে আলোচনা করেছিলেন, যেটা আমাদের খুবই ভালো লেগেছিল। এবং প্রকল্প পরিচালক ডক্টর শরীফ আহমেদ চৌধুরী আমাদের কিশোরী ক্লাবে এসে এনিমিয়া সম্পর্কে ধারণা দিয়েছিলেন, যেটা আমাদের খুব ভালো লেগেছিল। আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠানে ক্লাব সম্পর্কে বলতে পেরে আমি খুবই আনন্দিত। আমি আবারও কৃতজ্ঞতা জানাচ্ছি প্রসপারিটি প্রকল্পকে। সবাই সুস্থ থাকবেন, ভালো থাকবেন। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Sultana, for sharing your experiences as an adolescent club member. সুধীবৃন্দ, এবার মঞ্চে আসবেন বাগেরহাট জেলার মংলা উপজেলা থেকে শরীফা বেগম। তিনি সহযোগী সংস্থা নবলোক পরিষদের গন্ধরাজ প্রসপারিটি ভিলেজ কমিটির একজন সদস্য। At this point, I request Ms. Sharifa Begum from Mongla Upazila of Bagherhat district to share her experience. She is a member of Gandharaj Prosperity Village Committee under Nobolok Porishod, a partner organization of PKSF.
মহামন্ত্রী সাহেবকে এবং দিদিকে আমার নবলোক ভাইকে জন্য আমার সালাম রইল এবং আফাকে জন্য সালাম রইল। আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমার নাম শরীফা বেগম। আমি মোংলা বাগেরহাট থেকে এসেছি। আমি এতগুলো শিক্ষিত মানুষের সামনে আসব এবং মন্ত্রীর সামনে, দিদির সামনে আমি দেখা করব, কোনোদিন আমি কল্পনাও করতে পারিনি। কিন্তু আমার সৌভাগ্য কপাল দিন আপনাকে দাঁড়িয়ে আমি কথা বলতে পারবো। আমার কিছু মনের কথা আছে, আমি বলবো এই জায়গায়। কিন্তু আস্তে আস্তে করে আমি বড় হলাম। হলে সেই সময় দেখা যাচ্ছে ভালো যে মায়েকে তাকে বিয়ে হয় না, খালি খালি কি কেউ কি কোনো দিন বলতে পারে যে বলে এই মেয়েকে বিয়ে করব। কিন্তু আমার যে স্বামী তারে আমার মা 5 কাঠা জায়গা দিয়ে আমারে বিয়া দিছে। কিন্তু সে হিসেবে এখন আমি লাদিলি আমার স্বামীও আমার দিক ভালো খেয়াল দেয়, কিন্তু আমিও সেই আমার স্বামীর করি। কিন্তু নবলোক প্রসপারিটি প্রকল্প PKSF এরা নবলোক একটা আমি প্রসপারিটি বাড়ি পেয়েছি। কিন্তু সেই স্যারেরা আমাকে যাই একদিন বলল যে বলে এই আফাকে যেটি আমরা কিছু দিই, আফা কি পারবে দেখে সব কিছু দেখে বলল যে অর্থর অভাবে আমি কিছু করতে পারি না। কিন্তু সেই সময় নবলোক স্যারেরা আমারে একটা প্রসপারিটি বাড়ি দিল, সেই সাথে আমারে হাঁস, মুরগি, ছাগল এবং সবজি এর পাশাপাশি অনেক কিছু দিল। আমার একটা মেয়ে আর একটা ছেলে। আমার মেয়েটা এই ক্লাস 7-এ পড়ে, ছেলেটা ক্লাস 8-এ। কিন্তু আমার খুব দিন যাপনায় কষ্টে আমার দিন যেত, কিন্তু এই নবলোক থেকে আমার সাহায্য করে এখন আমি খুব ভালো আছি। আগে আমার বাজার থেকে সব কিনা লাগতো, কিন্তু এখন আমার শাক সবজি, ডিম, মাছ এইগুলো আমার কিনা লাগে না। এখন আমি সব কিছু আমি খেতে পারি। কিন্তু আমার বাবা আমার যে একটু চিকিৎসা করবে, কিন্তু সেই সময় কোনো অর্থ ছিল না। সেই সময় কিন্তু আমার জাড় ফুকরা করেছে। কিন্তু নিজের যে বাবার যেটি কিছু না থাকে, কিন্তু আমার সেই জন্য আজ আমি এই জায়গায়। কিন্তু আমার বাবা খুব আমার নিয়ে খুব করেছে, কিন্তু আমার বাবা মা কেউ বেঁচে নেই, বুঝছেন। এখন আমার বাবা মা কেউ বেঁচে নেই, কিন্তু সেইভাবেতে আমি এখন আছি। আপনাকে দোয়ায়, আপনাকে সবার দোয়ায় আমি ভালো আছি। আর নবলকে স্যারকে জন্য সবার জন্য যদি আমার যদি কোনো ভুল ত্রুটি থেকে থাকে তাহলে আমারে সবাই ক্ষমা করে দিন, কিন্তু সবার প্রতি আমার সালাম রইল। কিন্তু আমি আপনাকে অনুরোধ করব দিদি, আপনি আর যেটি ওই জায়গায় যেতেন সবাইকে আমার বাসায় যাওয়ার জন্য অনুরোধ করা থাকলো, দাওয়াত করা থাকলো, আপনারা যাবেন বলে আমি বক্তব্য শেষ করলাম। ধন্যবাদ।
জনাব শরীফা বেগম, আপনাকে আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ। Dear audience, now I would like to request Dr. Sharif Ahmed Chaudhary, Project Director, PPEPP-EU, to make a presentation on the project.
Assalamu alaikum. Let me welcome you to the presentation on the launching workshop of the PPEP. First of all, as you know, in Bangladesh we have made tremendous progress, especially in reducing the poverty, and the recent statistic shows that our extreme poverty level has went down to now as low as 5.6%. Obviously, it's a bit higher in the rural area, but on a national average, it's 5.6. And thanks to the effort of the government of Bangladesh, our development partners, and also our non-government organizations, MFIs, all our concerted effort has made it possible. But it is also true that some of the poverty pocket is still there, where the poverty level is still very high, 3 to 5 times higher. And as you know, the PKSF has been working on extreme poverty alleviation since its inception. But specifically on extreme poverty reduction, it was started early 2000, where actually there was a notion during that time that the extreme poor cannot be served through the microfinance services. And we took a project, and to that project, we proved that they are bankable, extreme poor are bankable, they can come out of the extreme poverty, provided we designed our financial and other related programs according to their needs. And based on that, actually in 2004, we have actually developed our PKSF mainstream extreme poverty program, which was then followed by a series of extreme poverty program. To mention one, first of all, is the eradication of Monga program under the Prime, funded by the DFID, which was then followed by a series of EU program, which is FSBGD, UPP, Ujjibito, and finally the PPP. You know, the PPEP is actually a project originally designed by the Bangladesh government, jointly funded by the FCDO and the EU. And PKSF was implementing the PPEP component, but due to the COVID and other financial problems, FCDO has withdrawn their program from March this year, and our tested partner, European Union, took over this project. And now the same PPEP project is now being termed as PPP-EU project. So financially, PPP-EU is a new project. That's true. But technically, it is the same PPEP project. So from now onward, what I am saying is the development of the PPEP project, which we found during our course of this project. PPEP project is actually a part of the Bangladesh Resilient Livelihood Program, where it covers 3 main project area, one for the rural poor, one for the urban poor, and one for the a technical assistance program. And PKSF is implementing the rural part of it. And this is a 3 years project, which will be covering some 215,000 extreme poor household. Objective is to reduce the poverty and develop resilient livelihood with 3 main outcomes. And the result will be exit from the extreme poverty, achieving food security, achieving better nutrition of the household, women empowerment, resilient to the climate, and also the empowering vulnerable communities, especially those of the household with persons with disability, elderly, ethnic poor, and Dalit transgender people. So the PPP project is unique in many ways. Is that it covers 6 SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 2, zero hunger, SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 10, reducing inequalities, and finally SDG 13, climate actions. So, and it is also aligned with our national program like 8th 5-year plan, National Social Security Strategy of Bangladesh, National Food and Nutrition Security Policy. All this program is aligned with that. And we in PPEPP is a kind of second generation poverty alleviation project where we recognize that the extreme poor are heterogeneous. They are not homogeneous. And as a result, the traditional extreme poverty alleviation model, which deals with the threshold graduation, we move out of that. Our approach is to pathway out of poverty, where we actually provide multidimensional poverty alleviation efforts. We promote more resilient income, nutrition, and health outcome, lowering shocks and vulnerability, increase resilience, and allowing household to access to the services, both public and aid. And as I mentioned, that these extreme poor are extremely heterogeneous. If you divide them grossly in 3 groups, one is at the bottom of the pyramid who can be even non-bankable. And one is transient extreme poor who are relatively bankable but need support. And one of the extreme poor, top 1 group, which is actually on growth track, you need some push. So this project has been designed to cater the needs of all these categories of the households. And we, through that actually services, will enable them to establish on resilient livelihood, which will gradually develop into enterprise, and then they move out of the poverty. And as our managing director was mentioning, that actually we work on extremely climate vulnerable area, especially northwestern flood-prone area of Tista and Brahmaputra flood basin area, covering Nilphamari, Rangpur, Kurigram, and Gaibandha, and in the southwestern part, coastal area, Satkhira, Khulna, Bagherhat, Potuakhali, and Bhola area, and in Haur area is Kishorganj. In addition, we also covering some of the special ethnic minority prone area like Thakurga and Dinaspur. So these are extremely vulnerable and hard to reach area. And we are covering 145 unions of 12 districts. And we selected the extreme poor household by 5 main proxy indicator and also some complementary indicators. Out of 145 unions, actually there was about 6,94,000 households, and of that 236,000 households are extreme poor, meaning 34% is extreme poor, whereas our national average is 5.6%. You can see the kind of extreme poor, and it also varies among the regions. For example, in the northwest, it is 30%. In the southwest, it is about 34%. In the Haur area is 42%, and among the ethnic minority is 74%. So these are the extreme level, but in general it's about 34%. And there are also variation in the occupation of these households, and most of our project households are actually comes from the southwestern coastal region and from the northeast, and partly 11% from the Haur area and 4% from the ethnic minority. And these are the kind of household we are dealing. For example, this is from Satkhira area, this is from Haur area, and this is the ethnic minorities household kind of we're dealing with. This is from the Kurigram area. And after having them know identifying these households, we organize them under the Prosperity Village Committee and providing them different services, especially on resilient livelihood, on nutrition and primary health care, on inclusive finance, on providing them community mobilization services, and also dealing with the disaster and climate change, especially dealing with the disabled person, and also obviously with the gender integration. And we providing different resilient livelihood services, including appropriate financing, capacity building, resilience against the climate vulnerability, market access, and also technical services, business development services, value chain development services, and also access to different aid. One of the unique thing of this project is that in each of the 145 union, we developed a livelihood map, where each of these union has been identified based on the GIS system on their topography, land coverage, kind of hazard it has, the physical structure it has, and the livelihood option it has. And based on those information, we actually decide what should be the kind of livelihood A. And similarly, and based on this intervention, we are providing scientifically proven technologies to different areas, providing them actually commercially viable livelihood options for on crop sector, on livestock sector, on fisheries sector, and many other farm and off-farm sectors. These are some of the pictures you can see. And we are providing them many hands-on technical training to them. And once we have, this is one of the picture actually, we are providing them boats so that these coastal community, fishing community, they can have their own livelihood through these boats, and they can manage to have approximately 1,400 to 20,000 monthly income per day. And also the fish processing in the coastal community. So, and we are also promoting for promoting the diversified income sources. We promoting prosperity household, where at least there are at least 7 different farming IG activities, so that they can earn at least whatever they needed. And also we are providing different off-farm related services and vocational training, and also different other. During the whole course of our you might remember that initially these households mostly were non-bankable. Now through our services, these people came under the inclusive financial service of the project, and we have so far distributed over nearly 881 crore taka, which is equivalent to about 76 million euro. And average loan size of this household is about over 23,000 taka. And these are some of the progress which we made. On nutrition, we actually focus on the mother and child, especially under 5 children, and providing, in line with the government National Nutrition Service System, we are providing nutrition-specific and nutrition-sensitive services, especially for the infant, in 7 domain areas, and providing all kind of homestead at each household. We are providing these services, and we have established Prosperity Mother and Child Forum, where providing all those direct nutrition services and other nutrition services. In addition, we have actually developed a very active relationship with the community clinic and their management, so that they can provide services to our extreme poor household. And each of the communities is also given special training on the kind of nutrient, the food they eat, and the way they should cook. We are also training them. In addition, on the sideline, we also provide actually services for the kids, so that they can enjoy their life within the possible options. And also, we are ensuring that the family relationship is become strong, so that they can support each other during the time of the needs. And we are also organizing different nutrition fair, and as we also seen some of the actually activities of our adolescent girls club, where they are the main source of the main media of our extending nutrition knowledges through the family, to the family as well as to the community. And also Adolescent Boys Club, and we are ensuring development of actually homestead-based year-round vegetable production that ensure nutrition to the household. And we provide community clean, mobilization services, which offers actually behavioral change communication sessions, provide rooted advocacy, especially for the local level government officials, and also ensure actually social service system to our vulnerable extreme poor. And we actually ensure different technologies that give them resilience, especially on the agricultural area. We have provided, the southwestern region is a very water scarce area. So we have provided during the last AMPAN, we have distributed about 1 million liters of water daily for 2 months to about 28,000 extreme poor households for 2 continuous months. And we also provide actually the water, rainwater harvesting tank to our coastal communities, provide also reverse osmosis plant. Each one is about 8,000 liter capacities, which is covering to the providing drinking water to the and these are some of the services. And we also provide actually we distribute different assistive devices to our disabled persons, and also those who are actually capable. We are linking them with the different livelihood activities. And as you saw, this is one of the ladies she has earned Joyita Award, national. This is a national award. This is the kind of empowerment we are having right now. And I'm now going to show you some of the results, because this project has already been running for quite a while. And this result is based on the result-based monitoring. This is completely internal monitoring. It's not necessarily the traditional ICT-based system, but it is actually, we are measuring the progress what we had based on the baseline. One of our objective is to alleviate all these households out of the international poverty line. Now, overall, about 51% of the household is already above the international poverty line. But there are variation among different areas. As far as the stunting is concerned, situation is yet very gloom. We know our national stunting rate is 24%, but in our prosperity area, we have this 44%. But the baseline was 49%. So we have improved a lot, but still long way to go compared to the. Similarly, for the wasting, interestingly, the wasting is 11%, which coincided with our national figure, which is very good for us. And also, similarly, for the average monthly income, average monthly expenditure, all these are still low compared to the national A. But we expect that this will grow further. And this is the kind of household food insecurity. 85% of our household is now food secured. And about 11% is mildly food insecure, some 3% is moderately food insecure, and less than 1% is food secure. So we are almost there in terms of food security. And also in terms of the dietary diversity, we have improved compared to 6.12. It's a 12 score scale. So it has improved from 6.12 to 6.45, but it's still a long way to go. Finally, I want to show that these are the 5 pillars of the Pentagon. And you see the human capital, physical capital, financial capital, social capital, and natural capital. And this is what our progress till now. And I want to conclude this presentation that we expect all this capacity will reach to score 1 during our project time. And thank you very much for your patient hearing.
In Shams, Executive Director of PPEPP Manobik Unnoyon Kendro, a PPEPP-EU project implementing partner organization of PKSF, to share his experience of the project.
It is indeed a privilege to have such esteemed individuals among us. Your presence and this huge gathering here today is a testament to the importance and significance of the project. I would like to take the opportunity to say something about my organization. PPEPP is working all over Bangladesh, and it has around 700 offices, 4,500 employees, and we are now implementing 33 development projects along with microfinance, supported by different ministries and departments of government of Bangladesh, PKSF, and other international agencies. We started our journey in the Howrah region in 2006. We formed around 30 community-based organizations for focusing on improving the basic livelihood and creating sustainable income-generating activities. PKSF came forward in financing the CBOs through PPEPP in 2010. Under the PPEPP-EU project, we are working in 14 unions in 3 upazilas of Kishoreganj district. The PPEPP project, EU project, covered almost all main intervention areas of the Howrah region, but we all know that the water and sanitation condition in the Howrah region is not too well. So PKSF is implementing BD wash projects. So if we can include this intervention in the project, that would be better. And also access to education, quality education in the Howrah region is very not easy. PKSF has long experience in implementing the afternoon schools under the Enrich program, and we can replicate this sorts of schooling program in the Howrah region under this project. To me, if we can include these 2 areas of intervention in the project, then the extent of change in Howrah region will be enhanced and improved. I would like to express our deepest gratitude to the government of Bangladesh, PKSF, and especially European Union, whose bold vision and unwavering belief in our mission have made this day a reality. I strongly believe that the PPEPP-EU project will be a significant milestone in our collective efforts to bring about positive changes in the Howrah region. Thank you for your patient hearing.
At this point, we would like to request Mr. Mohsin Ali, Executive Director of WAVE Foundation, another partner organization of PKSF, to share his views.
Honorable dignitaries on the stage and honorable guests, PKSF officials and partners of PKSF, greetings from WAVE Foundation. I will not talk too much. I will, in Galachipa Upazila of Patuakhali district, which was earlier very much vulnerable to the point of physical communication and extreme poverty, poor people. Thanks to our government that communication, physical communication is now better too much. And for the PKSF intervention, government Bangladesh and European Union also thanks for implementing the PPEPP project in vulnerable area, in which we are also working with 5,785 household people. I will say only 3 very remarkable achievements. One is 200 Subarno Nagorik cards have been distributed among the people with disability, and 50 people get benefits of disability allowance through Upazila Social Services and Upazila Health Complex, and other also will be included under this project of government social service department. One is the major achievement through our community mobilization. The results of our implemented income generating activities conducted through donations and participation of members are quite good. Among these IGAs, goat rearing is 100% ongoing and very successful IGA. There are several members who started their intervention with 2-month mother goats, although each in 2022, and now they have about 6 to 10 goats kids for each. Some of them members have already sold goat kids and bought cow calves. The third result is the result of broiler chicken rearing IGA are very much satisfactory. Many of members who started their farm with 100 chicks and now they are rearing from 500 to 700 chicks. At present, their farms are in profitable condition. Also, we have some challenges. I want to say on 2 challenges. Procurement and storage of livestock vaccines. From government, on due time, many times we don't get vaccines, and we have no scope or opportunity to storage the vaccines also for necessary time uses. Due to coastal region, it is very difficult to implement vegetable cultivation related IGA during the monsoon season because our members take lease from the landowner. In monsoon season, the land was water, and for that reason it is impossible for them to do that. Finally, I want to say about the commitment of PKSF partners, those who are implementing this project, that we are firmly decided to achieve our targets on time. And again, thanks our government, European Union, and PKSF for their joint effort and support us to pull out from the extreme poverty in our country. Hope we will be able to do this all in a good manner. Thank you all.
Now I humbly request His Excellency Charles Whiteley, Ambassador and Head of Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, a special guest of our program, to deliver his speech.
Thank you so much. Honourable Minister, distinguished representatives of PKSF, and distinguished representatives from partner organisations from across Bangladesh. I think many are joining us also online. It's a great pleasure to be here today to help launch the Pathways to Prosperity for Extremely Poor People, PPEPP. Trips off the tongue now with EU added to it, PPEPP-EU project in partnership with PKSF for building sustainable pathways out of poverty for Bangladeshis in need. The European Union is a proud partner in endeavours to end poverty and inequalities in Bangladesh, supporting the country's efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, especially through this project, SDG Goals 1, 3, 5, 10 and 13. This year, the European Union is celebrating 50 years of partnership between the EU and Bangladesh. And at Europe Day on the 9th of May, I was trying to capture the essentials of that relationship, and we identified 3 words, and they are friendship, prosperity and values, Bonduto, Shombridi and Mulobod. And I think they capture very well what we're trying to achieve through this project as well, through partnership with PKSF, the government, and all the representatives of the different organisations engaged on it. We're very pleased to see Bangladesh's progress, which is enormous. The graduation from LDC status in 2026 is testament to that. And although sustained economic growth will mean a better life for many Bangladeshis over the coming decade, it doesn't guarantee a sustainable exit from poverty for all. And despite achieving remarkable achievements in the areas of economic, infrastructural, and human development over recent decades, there are some, as we've heard, regions in Bangladesh, including Har areas and the southern coastal belt, where the incidence of poverty remains quite high. These segments of vulnerable populations continue to face livelihood, food and nutrition insecurity, as we've also heard today during several presentations. And the impact of climate change and rapid urbanization is also adding pressure to this situation. For these people, access to basic public services, such as quality healthcare, education, safe drinking water and sanitation, and safe and nutritious food, still remains constrained. There are challenges in governance, low rate of job expansion and skills development continue to impact on their ability to get jobs or income earning opportunities. As we also know, uneven access to services and economic opportunities disproportionately affects the poorest and most vulnerable populations who have insufficient control over resources and decision making. And this contributes in turn to raising income inequalities and marginalization. Considering this, as well as the fact that building pathways out of poverty requires a multi-sectoral approach, the EU has been investing heavily in three main areas that have a major impact on poorer people's ability to take part in growth opportunities. Those three priorities for our present funding period are inclusive governance, green inclusive development, and human capital development. And these three sectors are key determinants to accelerate poverty reduction through intersectoral action that empowers people, increases transparency and accountability, and strengthens resilience at an individual, community, and systemic level. The EU's approach also builds on strong partnerships relying on policy dialogue and mutual accountability with the government and civil society. And the launch of today's PPEPP programme fits very well into this approach. The project, as we've heard, is the continuation of the earlier PPEPP project that was jointly funded by the FCDO and the European Union, and we're very happy to continue supporting progress in this rubric. We're also very proud to join forces with PKSF to continue to work for inclusive growth and accompany Bangladesh in its transition towards a middle-income country where no one is left behind. I'm very happy to recall that this year marks 2 decades of partnership with PKSF. This partnership began in 1999 when we joined hands to implement a poverty reduction program called Integrated Food Assisted Development Project. And over the years, our cooperation has grown stronger and stronger as we collaborate with PKSF's poverty reduction efforts. So thank you very much to PKSF. Thank you very much to the Government of Bangladesh, including the Economic Relations Division and Financial Institutions Division of the Ministry of Finance, for all their support to this extremely important work. And we wish this project and all the participants every success. Ani Donovan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. We appreciate your constant support. Dear audience, now we humbly request the chief guest of today's program, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razak, MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Agriculture of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to give his valuable speech.
Honorable PKSF Chairman, Dr. Kazi Khaliquzzaman Ahmed, Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh, and Mr. Sheikh Mohammed he could not turn out. Distinguished representative from partner organization of PKSF and other organization, representative from the media, both print and electronic media, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I am extremely honored to be here as a chief guest on launching ceremony of very good project promoting prosperity. That's the pathway to prosperity for extremely poor people. For launching this project. And it's, for me, it's an opportunity to speak before you, which is an important issue to bring down poverty in Bangladesh. You know, present government assumed responsibility to govern this country after having overwhelming support from the people in 2008 election. Before election, we pledged to the people, pledged to the nation through our vision document 2021 and our election manifesto that we will bring down poverty, we will achieve food security, we will be achieving most of the or all MDG goal, latest by 2017, particularly bring down poverty to half. That was the mandate of MDG, which started early 90s. Well, after assuming taking responsibility, we formulated our 5 years plan, sixth 5 years plan, and according to that, we also prepared our perspective plan, which is supposed to be concluded in 2021. Today, before you, I can claim that we achieved all the MDG goal by 2017, which was appreciated by global community, our development partner, and civil societies across the world. Particularly, we achieved self-sufficiency in food, particularly in grain production, rice, maize, and wheat. In poverty reduction, we are supposed to brought down to 25-26%. At the moment, it stands 20%. Half it was requirement of MDG, but we achieved all the MDG goal. Extreme poverty, national average is quite good. We have brought it down to appreciable scale, but there are some areas, you have said, and you have identified in your project, there are some pockets that poverty incidence is much higher than national average. That's in coastal area, that's in Howard area, that's in hill tract. That's unfavorable area for growing crops and other economic activities. Well, in coastal area, it's a very difficult situation, very unfavorable environment for growing crops. If we see that total coastal area is about 25% of our land area, and there they grow only one crop, or most of the area remain fallow, uncultivated, unused. In Howard area, there also they grow only one crop, and it's extremely vulnerable. In alternate year, they may suffer from damages from natural disaster like flood or drought and so on. In coastal area, salinity is a major constraint, major problem, and they grow only one crop, tea almond. They plant it June, July, and harvest in December, January. Rest of the year, entire area remain fallow or uncultivated. And it has been historically for a long time. But overall economic growth of the country has been very good for last 14, 15 years since we took over to govern this country. With series of program, we have been addressing poverty issue. We provide free food, or we give food at subsidized price. We give subsidy in agriculture or incentive for agricultural product to increase agricultural production, and also address the unfavorable environment, adverse environment. You know, still in Bangladesh, 60–70% people, they live in rural area, in village area, and main livelihood is agriculture. It's the main livelihood. You have shown in your progress report, which I saw that most of the activities for livelihood were centering agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and crop production. In favorable plain land, we have increased agricultural production, standard of living has improved with the enhancement of their income. But in a vulnerable area, still income is awfully low, still people suffer from malnutrition, hunger, and so on. Even 2003-04, I was member of parliament in opposition. I had opportunity to go many areas in Kurigram, Lalmonirhat, in coastal areas, in Haur areas. We would see that many people are suffering from starvation. They suffer from hunger. But these days, that does not exist. With the number of programs, we are trying to ensure at least 2 square of meal for everybody. How we can improve the standard of living and reduce the poverty of the coastal area, Haur area, vulnerable areas. It's a very good project. European Union has been always very good development partner of Bangladesh. They have been helping many programs for overall economic development of the country. In many programs, they have been supporting. It's not only addressing poverty reduction, they also support in trade and other economic activities. We know in garments, they support us through GSP, and also in other development programs, they provide us support. So I do appreciate their support for this project. It's quite important for overall economic development of the country. We have been saying that our development program should be efficient. We say it should be inclusive. We say it should be resilience. We say that it should be sustainable. And we don't like to keep anybody behind. If it is so, it is the national goal, national objective, then I consider this kind of project is very relevant, and it would be very effective project to include everybody in mainstream of development activities in Bangladesh. I would take the opportunity to urge upon European Union to provide more support for this kind of project. I heard that it's $30 million project. Reason is that let us focus on something that result become very tangible and bring a change which should be a model for the entire nation. So let us focus some areas, some villages. You have identified 145 unions, 145 unions, 245,000 households. I know you have been achieving, you have been contributing to bring down poverty improve the standard of living, their well-being. But we want, I like to see that a tangible result which will be visible to everybody. Let us focus on these 245,000 households with more support. What are those? What are the possible opportunities? These days, we have been saying that we need good technologies that you get from science and innovation. And then to utilize those innovation, you need kind of investment, support. Then use those and enhance their income. For agriculture, let me give an example from my personal initiative. In 2011, in my area, I gave about 1,000 farmers 100,000 taka for buying cows for milking. This loan was free of interest. And again, 25,000 taka for buying feed for cattle. In 2020, I went to my area. We had a meeting. It was under the Ministry of Cooperative. All 1,000 farmers were there. I have been asking what kind of production they get from a cow. They said that I said that I heard you are getting as high as 20, 22 liter of milk. Then one farmer stood up and he said he got 28 liters. And he told me, you come to my house, I'll show that I am getting 28, 30 liters of milk from one cow. And all the farmers said that using 1 lakh taka and 25,000 taka for buying feed, we did very good. Now we are owner of about number of 4, 5, 6 cows, then calf. Altogether, most of us, we now own 12 lakh or 15, 20 lakhs taka. And nobody incurred any loss. And they paid back 100, all of them paid back to the cooperative, government cooperative, 100,000 taka. So that's the possibility, that's the opportunity, how we can use it. Free interest, and they are supposed to pay the loan. On the first day, they start milking their cow. So that's the prospect. These days, our scientists, they're coming up with modern technologies. And also, at the global level, technologies are also available. For that, you need initiative. For that, you need skilled people, trained people. And for that, you need funding support. I can give you, being agriculture minister, many examples. Just recently, in last September, I went to Chuadanga. I saw one farmer growing dragon fruit. It's a new crop, cash crop, fruits in Chuadanga. He made 70 lakh taka from 41 bighas of land. He started with 7, 8 bighas. And he planted strawberry, which is a temperate region crop, winter-loving, cool environment crop. I saw the plant in the field as an additional crop, extra crop in the dragon fruit orchard. Last February, that gentleman, Ruhul Amin, he came to my residence with strawberry, beautiful strawberry, brilliant color, size is very good, as good as you get in Europe or USA, interparty region country. And I asked him how much you are expecting. He said that I am expecting more than 2 crore taka for selling strawberry. So those are the opportunity, how you enable our people to get access to that. Again, another example. One guy, he came that because of dollar economic crisis, because of dollar shortage of dollar, I cannot open LC for bringing tulip birds from Netherlands. Bank is not giving me dollar, and I cannot open LC. Then I said, how much dollar? He said, it's not much, about $60,000 or more than $100,000. That was on that day, there was a cabinet meeting. I raised in the cabinet, and most of my colleagues in the cabinet, they said, we don't need tulip at the moment. We are passing through a crisis. There are a lot of hardship. Let us forget about tulip. Then Prime Minister also, she was presiding. She said, we'll bring next year, not this year. Dr. Rajak forget about it. But I didn't listen to my cabinet. I came back my office. I called the managing director of the bank. I said that one of farmers, he needs to open LC, you help him. I know this, it was not the decision in the cabinet, it was just discussed. So, and managing director complied, and he helped to open the LC. In last February, that farmer from Gazipur, he came to my house with a 5-6 bouquet of tulip. Beautiful color, as good as we saw in Netherlands. And I sent few of them to Prime Minister's residence. She was very happy, he was very excited about it, and she put it in her main, asked his staff to put in lobby. Everybody was crying and saw that if it is synthetic or natural. After 4 or 5 days, Prime Minister called me. The Dr. Rajak, where did you get tulip? I said in Gazipur, one of our cooperator farmer, he produced it. Then he said, I need more bouquet. I gave address, and her staff brought it and gave it to Belgium. Queen came to Bangladesh visit, and she gave Belgium Queen. And that was a viral in the media, that Bangladesh gave a tulip bouquet to Belgium Queen. So those are the prospect. Again, His Excellency Charles Whitley, he was asking me before coming to the meeting, that Dr. how you are doing in exporting mango. Our mango is delicious. Most of our foreign friends, they appreciate a lot. Its quality, its flavor, its taste is very good. But we have not good share in the international market. If we can export, our environment, our agroclimatic condition, quite suitable, quite good for exporting mango, for growing very good quality mango, and market and export it to the international market. So we got to identify what are the potential areas and what are the opportunities and how we can utilize those, how we can harness those. That's important. With donor funded or funding from the development partners, they have been giving or they have been implementing many projects through various NGOs. with the idea that NGOs are more transparent, more accountable, they do better, their output is better. I don't disagree, but in past, it's my personal experience, they focused on activities on creating awareness to create skill. But these days, our people are quite aware about nutrition, about education, about why their children are not meritorious, they are not getting creativity. So they're quite aware. You don't need much awareness. They know that their children should be fed with milk, meat, eggs, and so on, fish, nutritious food. That's the important. And that's the challenge of the present government. Dr. Khaliquzzaman, he was a member of our team in preparing present government election manifesto 2018. There we put that we are almost self-sufficient in food grain, but future challenge is nutrition, address the malnutrition. And that's the challenge. And to address that, you need vegetables, fruits. Those are high-value crops. Our people, they cannot afford to buy high-value crops. That's the problem. They know they have demand. They need it. They need to feed their children with high-value crops, vegetable, fruits. But they cannot afford. Their income is awfully low. Just they can feed their children with some rice and pulses. So I would request that I am sure you have conducted baseline survey. Based on that, you have shown the achievement that you have brought down poverty, wasting, under 5 children weight, and so on, and their mortality and so on different social indicators and human indicators. I would appreciate if you can also involve some government organization, agricultural department, like Agriculture Development Corporation, the Agriculture Extension, that what kind of technology they have and what they are after. These days we are focusing on growing more vegetables, fruits. I give you an example. In 2008 and 9, our vegetable production was 3 million ton. 3 million ton. This year, our report is we produced 22 million tons. In 13 years, we have increased it from 3 million to 22 million tons of vegetables. Our people, they have learned to eat vegetables. So you don't need much focus, much concentration on awareness. What we need to enhance income so that they can afford to buy high-value crops. So I would say that from your baseline survey, I'm sure you have generated many information, and based on that, you try to evaluate. It's not that all NGOs are accountable, very transparent. You need very strong monitoring. You need evaluation. That's important. I would also urge upon European Union, our development partner, who are providing fund. From their perspective, they also should also take steep measure to see that what kind of result we are getting, what kind of outcome, are we achieving the objectives. I prolonged my speech, but I would say that this is a very good program. It's very much with our national goal, and it will help to bring down poverty and enhance the standard of living of our people. That's the goal of the nation, government. We are saying that still 60–70% people, they live in the rural area. Their standard of living is awfully low. Their children, they don't get good education. They cannot get into good school. They cannot get good health care. So those are important for our overall economic development and our goal to be a prosperous country, hunger-free, poverty-free, prosperous nation. Towards that journey, towards that march, I'm sure this kind of project will help a lot. And again, I thank European Union. They have been always very good development partner. They have been generous to Bangladesh. They supported many of the European countries. Directly they supported our liberation war. We are becoming developing country, from LDC to developing country. A little bit we are apprehending that European Union may not provide support they have been giving us in future, but we will appreciate, and we earnestly want that for a few more years, European Union will continue their support. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razak MP, Honorable Minister, for your valuable suggestions. Now, we would like to request the chair of the program, Dr. Qazi Kholikuzaman Ahmad, Chairman of PKSF, to kindly give his speech.
Honorable Chief Guest, Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Razak, distinguished special guest, Ambassador of European Union, Excellency Charles Whiteley, Managing Director of PKSF, Dr. Namita Haldar, distinguished guests, and colleagues from PKSF and partner organizations. Let me begin by saying that Palli Karma-Sahayak Foundation and its partner organizations stand by 1 crore and 80 lakh households today, which is 18 million households. All of them are not poor. There are extreme poor people, households, poor households, and non-poor but low-income households, and households seeking to embark on a pathway for sustainable development. So all these households we try to serve. It's not just make them aware, but also what we actually do is, in addition to building awareness, we stand by them for their economic activities, even social activities. The human life is not an economic life only. It's a life which includes culture, which includes the way we think, which includes the way we live. So we try to involve all kinds of activities in our process. Honorable Minister has just told us, and we all know, that Bangladesh is making very good progress in many fields, particularly economic development in terms of growth rate and per capita income, and also in relation to certain social indicators. But he has said, and correctly so, that there are some gaps, some areas of the country which have problems. Which have some problems, and there are groups of people which also face problems. And this is where PKSF comes in and partner organizations come in. And we therefore participate in a process that has been initiated, of course, by the government, because PKSF is a government organization. But we work with NGOs, which are non-governmental organizations. This is a unique partnership. Because I don't know anywhere in the world, I visited many countries, there's a government organization working with non-government organizations in a partnership. Even in the board of Palli Karma-Sahayak Foundation, 3 board members are nominated by the government and 3 elected from civil society. So there is a partnership as well. So this is an organization which is very effective in terms of achieving results. Now, there are many projects and many programs being implemented, but always you don't get the results that you intend. But in PKSF, we want to make sure that we get the results. And we have moved away from uni-element focus of credit. We now implement projects and programs which are human-centric, multidimensional, and integrated. Particularly, I'll mention Enrich, a program which is exactly the 3 words that I have mentioned. It's a human-centric, multidimensional, because human beings cannot be unidimensional. Human beings are multidimensional. We want to address all the aspects of their life. And when we were designing PPEPP, in its earlier version, I was involved quite a bit, and we looked at the programs of Enrich and the achievements of Enrich also when we designed this project. And then you find, if you look at the Enrich program, there are certain elements which are very common, and the design is very common. For example, let me just tell you, it's resilient livelihoods that we are focusing on, which means you need resilient people, which means you have to promote human capability. And human capability depends on education and training on the one hand, and on the other, good health, nutrition. So you have nutrition here, primary health care here. Education is missing, it has been mentioned, but it is perhaps assumed that a bit of education is there. But at PKSF, we don't provide any finance unless we train the people in the particular activity. And therefore, training, I'm sure, is there, it must be. So you have training, nutrition, healthcare, that's human capability. Because if you provide funding without skill development, without looking at the health of the people, probably you are not heading to the results that you have designed to achieve. Now, a person is capable, or a family is capable, then what? They need finance. So you have financing here. Inclusive finance. Some people say that if you provide some money, and that's inclusive finance. I don't accept that. Inclusive finance means you should provide so much money that a person or a family can take to some trade or manufacturing activity or something else, economic activity, and generate income. If you don't provide that much money, it's not inclusive. It's just another dose of assistance perhaps, but not inclusive finance. Inclusive finance has to be resilient finance. Then, as we make progress, you have capable human beings, you provide finance, but there is a problem, and that's climate change, which is holding us back. So you have climate change here, and disaster proneness we are addressing in this particular project. And this is what we do in all our projects in PKSF. We have a separate division. Because in future, unless you are aware and unless you take action on climate, progress will not be sustainable. It's one of the 3 pillars of sustainable development. Sustainable development may be succinctly defined as socially acceptable, environmentally sound, economic growth. So that's sustainable development. Therefore, all the 3 pillars we have to work on, and the progress must be simultaneous. And therefore, we have to look at the social development as well as environmental aspects of development. So that's there. Then, of course, we focus on certain groups of people who are either left behind or not taken along as much as they should be. The disabled, people with disabilities, women, and certain groups and certain areas of the country, as the minister was telling us. So it has been designed in a manner that focuses on the human being, and therefore our goal is human dignity. So people should be living in a dignified manner. That's the goal of PKSF. That's the goal of partner organizations of PKSF. We try to do all we can to stand by the people so that they can move forward and achieve a dignified living, those who are below that level. So that's our purpose. And therefore, we design our programs with that spirit and that those considerations into account, and we design our programs and aim at human dignity. Then we implement those programs effectively with the help of our partner organizations. We deepen our programs. Whenever necessary, we take into account other aspects which were not designed, which was not taken into account while designing the project. Otherwise, that may stand on the way of achieving the results that we want, so we try to do that. We monitor very strictly. That's one of the strengths, best strengths of PKSF. And that's why I think we achieve results. And then we ensure the results. So that's the way I see this project, and that's the way I see the PKSF works, how the PKSF works, and that's the way I think our partner organizations also work, as long as they are working with us, but they also work with other funding organizations. We have no responsibility for that, and we don't know the way they design and implement their projects, but as long as they work with us, PKSF, this is the way we do. So this is one project, but all the projects, any project I talk about of PKSF, essentially the elements are the ones that I have just mentioned. So we want to see that our sustainable development goals achievement, we progress on that, and that's we don't have many years. The government has prioritized 39 out of the 169 targets. 39 has been, 38, no 39 actually, 39 plus 1. One is that you have to include everybody in each activity. So that's what we try to do in PKSF. Let me conclude by thanking the government, first of all, because since it is a government project, all the activities that we implement If it is foreign funding, it comes through the government to us. We don't directly contract. The government signs the contract and then gives it to us. Therefore, the government is to be thanked very much. EU, of course. You see, there was a PPEP started actually in 2019. The UK government and EU were involved. I think EU was a smaller partner in that funding activity. But then somehow UK had to withdraw, and I'm very glad and very thankful that EU stepped in, because this is a very good project, and the elements in the whole program I have just described are such that we can promote at the same time not only the goals of this project, but also the goals of sustainable development that the government is pursuing, not only the government of Bangladesh, but governments all over the world are supposed to pursue. So that's why I'm very thankful to EU, and I'm sure we'll go on working together in future in the interest of the people who have not been able to join the forward-moving people. And that's one of the main concerns that we have. The global wealth is unprecedented now. Technological development is unprecedented. And yet 1 billion people, 1/8, very poor, extremely poor, below $1.9. That should not be the case if the distribution was better. So our focus is on the people who have not been able to move forward like others. And EU, PKSF partnership, should be able to help some of those people in Bangladesh here, and I'm sure EU works in other countries in similar fashion. I'd like to thank PKSF management and staff and all partner organizations for their efforts. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, respected Chairman, for your valuable speech. Dear audience, we have come to the end of today's program. Thank you very much for your kind presence and patience.